In today's video, I will show you how I clean my UGF filters. I will update you on my 2 crossbreeding projects where I'm trying to create a new type of Caridina shrimp with orange eyes. I will give you a sneak peek at my new tank setups and I'll share my new UGF filter designs that work best for Caridina shrimp. Let's get started. Look at these shrimps, guys. This is my cold tank or mixed tank, and I have plenty of different types of Caridina shrimp here, just mixing in one tank. This tank is absolutely thriving. As you can see, we have plenty of green walls, plenty of green dust algae everywhere, including the bottom of the tank. This tank is doing absolutely fantastic. It's about 4 or 5 months old, and I'm absolutely happy with this tank. And guys, if you look at the water flow, you can see it's not consistent. The filter kind of spitting water out and making this bubbling noise, which is a little bit annoying if you have many tanks. So that means this filter needs to be cleaned, and we're gonna do it right now. And later in the video, I'm gonna give you some tips how to avoid cleaning your filter at all. I'm gonna show you another example. Here I have a tank with the yellow galaxy shrimps. The population is not growing very fast, just very slowly. They've been like that all the time. I don't know, these shrimps are really picky. And guys, I cleaned this filter a few days ago, and if you look at the water flow, you can see it's more consistent, and this is how it's supposed to be. And guys, before we start cleaning this filter, let me quickly explain how it works and why we need to clean it. So let's start how this filter works. It's very simple. The air pump lifting the water out from the filter, the new water coming inside the filter through the soil. The soil buffer the water, lower the pH, make it nice and good for Caridina shrimp. Over the time, bacterial waste all get inside the soil, and once it's trapped inside, it starts to block the water passage. And once it starts to block the water passage, it might create some dead zones inside the filter. These dead zones are very dangerous for shrimp because it might kind of build up some ammonia inside, and once this ammonia pockets release into the water column, your shrimp might die. So simple as that. So first thing we want to do is just to remove the top tube, like so. Later we're gonna clean this air stone as well, because it looks like it's maybe blocked as well. And then I have a kind of small tubing like that, which is perfect to get inside the filter. Okay, let's suck the water out from the filter. Make sure you don't drink this water. You can see we start to suck all this waste out from all the muck out from the filter, which is good. And while the water running out, we need to poke this and kind of rotate it like that. Make sure all the soil dust sink to the bottom, and then we can vacuum it out. If you do it without siphoning the water from the filter, you're gonna end up with very messy tank. All the smoke gonna get into your tank. This is how I do it, just to rotate it slightly and siphon it. You can feel it, so it'll become very loose, very easy to move. That means it's done, yeah? So the tank is nice and clean. Do the water change at the same time, because you need to remove about 20% of water while you're cleaning the filter. Okay, so this is our water, very dirty, and you don't want this water inside your tank. That's why you siphon everything from the filter. So now we can clean the air stone. Also at the same time, I want to clean the tube. All these little cuts here, they just help the water aeration. I'm using this set underground filter Easter accessories. It's very good, it's very good. This is the best one. You have a little bit opening on the plastic air stone. And this is very good, very handy, because you can open it and you can use this kind of stuff. I don't know what it's, brushes or whatever it's called. So you just get them inside. It's good to clean it once in a while. I would say once in 3 months I would do cleaning this filter a little bit. Just avoiding these dead pockets and to make sure this filter works properly. Also, I like to use a toothbrush at the end and just to clean everything from outside. Once you clean it, just don't forget to put this back. And also guys, while you're doing that, I would suggest you to block that thing, because your shrimp might get inside the filter. And guys, I have 2 shrimps inside my filters. Some of the filters got some shrimps inside. And they never get out. They just like to live inside. There's so much yummy stuff inside the thing. Okay, the water is coming back to the tank right now. You can hear this noise, this pump inside this tank start to work, pumping the water in all my tanks. You see, shrimps didn't even notice I was cleaning the tank. They still continue to enjoying their food. I'm going to show you quickly the shrimp while the water coming back to the tank. They are the shrimps. This is a buried mama. It looks okay. I don't know why I called it here. Here we have lots of blue balls and red balls. You can see the buried blue ball here. Because I don't have a separate tank for blue and red balls, and I always find some blue and red balls in my my Galaxy tanks and my Galaxy Tiger tanks. So I had to call them, and all of them come here, and you can see another bird female. So soon there's going to be plenty of babies here. And guys, sometimes I take some of the females from this tank and put them in my regular tanks. This way I can just get more beautiful baby shrimps from them. Oh, that's another bird, mama. Look at it here. This is a very terrible shrimp. This is cold shrimp, really. This look like wild shrimp, wild Cardinia shrimp or so. I saw wild Cardinia, looks exactly the same. This female might get us a lot of pinto shrimp, believe me guys. It's like half of the babies going to be pinto shrimp. And by the way, the blue balls here as well, making lots of pinto shrimps, lots of beautiful galaxies as well. Some of the males here are from my crossbreeding project. I'm going to show you my crossbreeding project a bit later. I have some crystal red shrimp here as well, little babies, because I'm run out of space for them, and I decided to put some babies here while once they grow up, I'm going to put them in different tanks. They're here only temporary. Some people asking me, can you mix Cardinia shrimp? And or people complaining like why you mix Cardinia shrimp? You're going to have a wild shrimp. No, it's not. It doesn't work like that. They're not Neocardinia shrimp. You're mistaking them with Neocardinia, if you say so. Alright, so this is much better now. Very consistent flow now. You can see it's much better than we had before. And don't worry to make the soil very even on top of the UGF, because your shrimp gonna do it for you. So now let me show you another tank. And this is my other tank where I want to clean UGF box, and the reason for that is because the water flow here is very terrible, even worse than we had in my other tank. And let me quickly explain what I have in this tank. And this is my first crossbreeding project. Maybe not the first one, but one of the first one where I try to crossbreed shrimp. And here I'm crossbreeding my black King Kong orange eyes with some bunch of other shrimp, mostly red balls and blue balls. And most of them I already moved out from the tank, only a few buried red balls left, because I have plenty of F1 generation shrimp. You can see all of these pinto shrimp, all of these King Kong shrimps, they are F1 generation. So the idea is to move these orange eyes to blue balls or to blue steels. And I saw some shrimps like that in Shrimps Affair shop, and I very like them. So I decided to try and make it myself. So this project is going on for about 6 months already. So this is F1 mama with some eggs under the belly. So very excited about her. This is all babies F1 as well. This is another mama here. F1. This is just a red bolt still left. I'm probably going to remove her after she releases the babies, because now we have plenty of F1 already. We don't need any more F1 in this tank. And I'm going to call all the males from this tank, all the F1 or F2 males going to go to my call tank. And I want to crossbreed all F1, F2, F3, whatever I have, back to orange eye black King Kong. I don't know if it's the right way or not, but I heard this is the way to do it. Yeah, this is F2 generation baby. It doesn't have orange eye, I'm afraid. But they look like a, I don't know, it's just like a bluish color. It's very interesting. I'm really excited to see how they're gonna look like when they grow up a little bit. Maybe we can create something new. You never know. Look at the coloration of the legs. They're so bright, so beautiful. Yeah, that's amazing what you can get when you crossbreed the Cardinia shrimp. Lots of like a panda and King Kong shrimp, pinto shrimp. Yeah, so many surprises here. That's why I decided to share this with you guys now, because it's gonna be a long way for me to get something decent from this crossbreeding project. When we have more babies from that shrimp, from this buried shrimp, from that buried shrimp, we might have some more orange eyes. So lots of buried females. So probably in a month or so, we're gonna see more F2 babies here. And then now I'm trying to move all the males to my coal tank. This is probably a male, need to be moved. Now it's really early to say if it's male or female, because they still look a bit young. That's why I'm waiting for them to grow up a bit bigger. But at the same time, I don't want them to mix with F1, F2. Yeah, really excited about this project, guys, and I hope I'm gonna get something decent from that. Later, I managed to do a macro shot of another F2 baby, and looks like it has orange eyes as well. And with at least 6 buried F1 females, there are plenty F2 babies on the way. Can't wait for them to grow up so we can finally start calling them in a separate tank. And now let me show you my another crossbreeding project. Okay, so this is the tank where I do another crossbreeding project, and this tank is very simple. We have one UGF box We have one sponge filter, a little bit moss on top of UGF box, and we have a bare bottom. So here I have my red devils, orange eyes, and I crossbreed them with blue steel shrimp. You can see one blue steel female came here to eat. I have more of them in the moss. They like to hide when they buried, so I have a few buried shrimp here. I also have one buried galaxy shrimp. I'm gonna show you later. I'm gonna catch you and bring it to the front. My goal is to get the same kind of blue steel shrimp but with orange eyes. I really like the shrimp, and it's really impossible to buy them, so I want to make them myself. All these juveniles and babies, they all F1, so I don't have any F2 yet, and I don't have any F1 buried shrimp yet here. So now let me change the lens for the macro one so you can properly see the shrimp. Yeah, so now it should be better to see the little babies with this macro lens. You can see that we have a plenty little babies here. Most of them look like a blue balls or blue steel, so that's absolutely normal. We also have lots of red devils, orange eyes babies as well. Not all of them are quite good grade, I would say. So some of them, you can see, some of them look like a tiger shrimp but with orange eye and red patterns. I really like the shrimps. It reminds me of the shrimp I saw in Shrimps Affair, and Derek has a full tank of shrimp similar type. So if they breed like that, I'm absolutely fine. Can have a colony of shrimps looks like that. So yeah, they look great to me. Yeah, so all these babies, they are F1 hybrids. So let's just properly look at them. So many babies here. So yeah, some of them are almost grown up to the adults, I would say. So this project is going on for about 4 months, and yeah, it's gonna take time, guys. The crossbreeding shrimp is not straightforward job. It's years and years and years. We're gonna keep the females, we're gonna call the males, and then all the females gonna crossbreed with orange eyes again. You can see we have some juveniles already, like a pinto shrimp. They are F1. All the shrimps here F1. We don't have any F2 shrimps. So now I'm waiting for them to grow up, and then we're gonna call all the males. We're gonna leave only females here, and then we're gonna crossbreed them back with the orange eyed red devils, and hopefully we're gonna get something from them. So I also have one galaxy shrimp I'm gonna catch here and show you in a second. Let me just do that. So take a look at this galaxy female here, full of eggs. She also buried from red devils, orange eyes, so I'm trying to crossbreed the shrimp as well. And her eggs are almost ready. You can see the eggs coloration it's very translucent, transparent. So that means the babies are almost ready. Probably another couple of days, and we're gonna see many babies here. She got buried all the time. I never saw her not buried, so she probably been buried here for a couple of times already. This is number 3 already. So this is only one galaxy female here, or she tried to escape. Yeah, she escaped already. The most of the females are blue steels. So because I tried to create a blue steel orange eye shrimp, that's why I put a lot of blue steels here. So yeah, this is the tank full of babies now. Lots of interesting babies here. So very excited to see the next generation. So hopefully we're gonna see some orange eyes once these little babies start to breed. Yeah, this is another breeding project I have here, very similar to what we have with the black orange eyes, but here we have a red orange eyes. Guys, did you know that all the shrimp who has orange eye, they're actually blind? So here we try to create disabled shrimp, the blind shrimps. That's funny. This is actually a very popular crossbreeding project when the people try to create some new variants of orange eye shrimp. I'm starting to get bored just to breed shrimp, and now I'm trying to create something new, something interesting, and now the orange eye shrimp is very popular. So I think this only option now to create something new is just to move the orange eyes to something interesting color. So that's what I'm trying to do here. And guys, if you follow my channel, you probably know that I'm a huge fan of underground filtration. I have this filtration in almost all my tanks with a very good result. And what I learned over the years, guys, that the shallow UGF actually works much better than the taller ones, because they have only thin layer of soil, so the water has no problem to penetrate the soil, so they never clog and you never ever need to clean them. So let me just show a few examples. And guys, for example, this tank with my yellow galaxy shrimp, and you saw this tank earlier, I showed it before, and here I have a quite tall UGF box which is about 12 centimeter tall, which is about 5 inches. And I made this UGF about 2 years ago, and I thought before that the tall UGF works better because it holds more soil, but it doesn't work really well. What I learned over the years that this UGF is clogging much faster, and you have to clean it like once a month or so, because there's quite thick soil here and the water has quite big way to go to the bottom, and that's why it's clogging quite fast. So I wouldn't recommend to do it very tall, or if you have a tall UGF, just don't fill it right to the top, only just fill it maybe like 3/4 or something. Same thing for this tank, guys, and you saw me cleaning this UGF earlier. This UGF is about the same size, so I have to clean it once a month or so just to avoid any dead zones inside the UGF. And let me show you my new tank here. So this is my new tank, and this is a sneak peek on my video because I'm making the video about this tank. So today I'm going to show you lots of tanks which you're probably going to see in the future on my main channel. So this tank has a quite shallow UGF, which is about 8.5 centimeters, almost 9 centimeters, which is about just less than 4 inches. And this is the tallest UGF. I would suggest you to do only like 8-9 centimeters. So sometimes better to make it wider rather than taller. So instead to have a very tall UGF in the middle of your tank, it's better to make it like two shallow ones in the corners, I would suggest. Let me just show you another example. Another sneak peek on my future project. This tank is only 1 week old and I'm waiting for this to get cycled before adding the shrimp. And you can see here I have a very shallow but quite wide UGFs on either side, and I think this UGF works the best for me. I have one UGF this size in my other tank which is doing really well. It's at the bottom. I'm not going to show you this tank because this tank, I'm making a video about this tank, it's almost done, so you're gonna see it on my main channel. You can see I have this exactly the same size UGF in the corner, and I have like 100 shrimps here, little babies everywhere. I'm running this tank for about 6 months and I never ever clean this UGF. So instead to make UGF taller, you better to make him wider from my experience. So this UGF is roughly 1.5 width of the normal UGF, and it works really well because this very thin layer of soil is only 7.5 centimeters, which is about 3 inches tall, and the water has no problem to penetrate. There are no dead zones to build up in this kind of UGFs, and I'm really happy about that. So let me show you another example. So this is another new setup which I'm making video as well. So another sneak peek on my future video. You can see we have a nice green walls here already. This tank is about 4 weeks old, and I also put some crystal red shrimp here just to get this tank more mature. What I learned, guys, that when you put your shrimp early, you get much cleaner tank and the algae grows much better because your shrimp doing very good job cleaning all the bad algae in your tank. If you don't have a shrimp, you're gonna have some kind of cotton algae, some hair algae started to grow. But when you have a shrimp, the tank become very clean, nice and clean. So you can see like here we have maybe like 30-40 shrimp, and they clean this tank and they already start to get buried. You can see that lots of them is this one buried shrimp, and lots of females, probably all the females here in this tank are buried. Not many of them, maybe like 5 of them. They all get buried in this tank, and I put them here when the tank was only 2 weeks old, and now they start to get buried. They're very active, and you can see here I have a very shallow UGF. And I very like the tanks which I done before with the half wall all the way across, but the problem is, just let me show you this tank. For instance, this tank with the half wall UGF at the back, I really like this design and it works really well, but the only problem is there is no way to change the soil. If you want to change the soil, you have to reset this tank, and that's the issue. So you basically run this tank for like 8-12 months, and then you have to reset it. This is really pain. And this is why I came up with this design, guys, and it works really well, exactly the same as a half wall, but instead of the one big half wall and big UGF at the back, we're having 2 small boxes on either side. And what I did, I just made these boxes slightly smaller than the size of the tank, just a little bit smaller. So then I glue a little bit of foam or sponges on either side. This way I can put them very tight together without any gaps, and absolutely love this design. So I'm starting doing this kind of design almost in all my tanks now. If you can see, I just give you another sneak peek. So this is a brand new tank which I just set up a few days ago, and this is another tank. So you can see I have plenty of tanks like that. So now I'm making video about this kind of style and just a sneak peek for you. And this UGF works really well because they are very shallow, not much soil to penetrate, so you're never gonna need to clean them. And guys, in case you don't know, recently I started to make my own UGF boxes from acrylic, and before I used clear glass and silicone to make my UGF from, but now I started using acrylic. They're much lighter, they look much better, and I came up with lots of different interesting design. So let me show you what I have. Here you go, guys. There are 4 different sizes of UGF boxes I'm currently making from acrylic. So let's start with the little little one. So this little UGF box I designed for nano tanks, and this UGF box gonna work perfect in small tanks up to 25 liters or up to 6 gallons or so. And the next UGF is standard size. For example, shrimps buffet using the same size of UGF. This UGF will be okay up to 60-liter tank. So the next UGF is slightly wider size than the standard one. If I put the standard one at the back, you can see it's about 1.5 inches wider and a little bit shorter. So I would say it can hold a little bit more amount of soil with the same result. So it works exactly the same as the standard one. You just get a little bit more soil inside this one. And the next UGF is the most favorite one. And you already saw these size UGFs in my large tanks on either side. They work really, really well. And I have one UGF the same size in the tank at the bottom and running for 6 months. I already mentioned, no problem whatsoever, and never ever clean that, no dead zones, because you're only gonna have very thin layer of soil inside this UGF, so the water gonna penetrate it without any problem. You're not gonna have any waste trapped inside the soil, and you're not gonna have any dead zone. So this size UGF works really, really well from my experience. So now you saw all the different sizes of UGFs I'm currently making, and I'd like to mention that I'm making them from 4mm acrylic, quite thick acrylic, and I do polishing the edges so they're nice and smooth and no sharp edges or whatsoever. I'm also trying to do the nice neat job. So first few UGFs I did very messy job, but now I learned how to do it nice and tidy, so it's not much glue on the edges. It's almost nothing you can see, so it's really, really pretty UGFs. And if you compare with the standard UGF box, like from many different sellers, you can see they're made from 3mm acrylics, and I have 4mm acrylics, so they're much stronger. I can really post them without worrying they crushed, because this one is very flimsy and very thin. You can bend them very easy. This one very strong. All the UGF boxes I showed you previously, they are all available in my eBay shop, and I can send internationally. I can send USA, Canada, Europe, Australia even. So if you need one, buy it from me and support my channel. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.